How's it going, ladies and bruises? I'm Sixkilla. Welcome back to the Divine Deception. Now, I just want to make a note that if you see like artifacting in the green screen, specifically back here and back here on this piece, it's starting to get damaged because one of the pneumatic things is broken. So if you have an Elgato one, bear that in mind. Your daily use results in broken pneumatic what's-a-majigger gas struts. I've ordered some more and hopefully we can get that sorted back out before it becomes a big issue, because that would look like shit. Anyway, I want to jump back into the boat one as fast as we can because I want to see more boat one, frankly. Can we do boat one? I have lots of keys. Over under. Let's set the scene for a moment. Right now I'm trapped in the middle of a small, dark metal container. I was stuck holding the nearest opening closed. On the other side of the opening was a masked killer dressed in all black. They had a gun, and as was just demonstrated, shooting at the container repeatedly might pierce through it. Inside the container was some redhead who seemingly was also being hunted down by this killer. She didn't seem particularly friendly towards me. I didn't know if I could even trust her that much, long term. However, in this specific case, we shared a common goal in not immediately dying. Right now, we're on the deck of a ghost ship, out in sea in the middle of the night. People have been killed in the hull. It is unclear if anybody else is on the ship, but if there is, odds are good that they're in league with the masked killer. Oh, my phone isn't working. Okay, got all that? Good. Those are the pieces we're dealing with. And see. Fuck! You keep shooting randomly like that, we're gonna get hit. As soon as I start shouting out like this, I felt once again the container beginning to open up. They must have thought my reaction must have signaled that I'd let go. An incorrect guess. With as much effort as I could muster, I kept the container closed. Things are looking pretty hopeless. I looked over to my fellow target to see if she had any input. As it turned out, she had an idea of her own. With a solid kick, she opened the other side of the container. Huh? That side opens? Being honest, I had no idea. Makes sense, I guess. But it wasn't obvious from the inside. I feel like to know that, you need to be pretty familiar with these sorts of containers. Forget it. I wasn't going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I began to run to the other side of the container. However, before getting too far, the other target put a hand on my arm. She also put a finger to her lips. It was pretty esoteric, but I got the message. We waited 3 seconds. Then we sprinted out the front entrance. As expected, we had a bit of a lead. See, hearing the other side open like that, hearing my moving footsteps, Thane, clever killer he was, meant to circle around and ambush us. Luckily, my partner in escape was one step ahead of him, and decided to just leave out the front. This trick got us one step ahead. However, one step ahead isn't that far. As expected, Thane was quick to catch his mistake, and before we knew it, we were right back in the same old game of chase. Since he had a gun, we had a bit of a limitation in how we could run. If we didn't make constant turns behind cover, he'd just shoot us, and that would be that. Luckily, there were plenty of metal containers around the deck. The maze that I once cursed now felt like a blessing. Left, right. Had to keep in mind the edges of the ship. It's kind of fun in a disturbing way. That thought was a bad sign toward my mental stability, but this is really just the highest stakes game of tag there ever was. I was always pretty good at tag. It wasn't just a game of physical endurance. Not really. I mean, maybe if you played on a plain empty field, but if you played tag in a playground, then it was a game of strategic encirclement. Every playground piece was a tool the runners could use to try and throw off the chaser. Fundamentally, in an open field with no interference, if the runner and the chaser are of roughly equal physical endurance, the chaser has a huge advantage. After all, the runner just needs to lag for a moment within the range of the chaser's reach and it would all be over. But if you climb playground equipment, you could bank time. It'd be 20 times faster to get off and away from the equipment than to initially climb it. If you stayed mindful of where the threats were approaching, what your exit options were, it was impossible to get caught. I remember I'd always argue for zombie tag because if we just played regular tag, I'd get bored. No one would ever catch me. Bold words, I know, from a person currently moments from being shot by an approaching killer. The days of the playground have long passed me, and being honest, I was starting to feel some exhaustion. I wasn't the only one. Looking at my fellow target, they also seemed to be struggling somewhat in keeping up with me. From the sound of Thane's approach, however, he seemed to be showing no signs of wear or tear. He was getting closer and closer. This couldn't hold. But what to do? Keep running. Huh? I could barely hear that. It was said so quietly. Obviously keep running. Why would... Oh, I see. I get what's going on. My fellow escapee was slowing down as we turned this corner. I could guess what was about to happen. We turned the corner and... Yep. She instantly stopped and started bending down. Her attention was now directed out the other side of the container. She was waiting for Thane. She was going to directly attack him again, which made sense. We could only run for so long. We weren't getting anywhere the way we were going. Element of surprise is a good way to try it as any other. But why tell me to keep running? Surely it'd be better us to take him on 2 versus 1. In that case I should stay back and help, right? But she said to keep running. No, I slowed down and turned around. And good thing I did when I did. Because of that I was able to get a front row seat for the ensuing fight. Right as Thane began to turn the corner himself, the redhead shot out with a fist, looking to sock him right in the side of the head. Sorry lady, but you're dealing with someone who had cyborg levels of fighting experience. In an instant, Thane came to a dead stop. He must have seen the attack coming from the corner of his eye. Not only did Thane stop, but he leaned back. And because of that, my partner's first swing sailed right in front of Thane's head, inches away from his stupid helmet. This felt like a sign that the attack had failed, but my partner wasn't so quick to throw in the towel. As if she planned for the first punch to miss, she twisted her body, and with her right arm, went for an uppercut right to the chest. An attack like that would wound anyone if connected solidly. Again though, Thane was ready, and blocked the brunt of the attack with his right arm. The redhead then seemingly transitioned into another swing to the side with her left fist, and once more, Thane caught it with his left arm. However, both of those arm-based attacks were just meant to keep Thane occupied and distracted. While she swung those punches, the redhead was also swinging back her right leg. Right as Thane caught her left punch, she released the tension and took a whack right at Thane's money zone. Looks like 3rd time's the charm. Or 4th, depending on your count. Whatever, point is, Thane was caught right on and began to keel over someone. An opening. Seriously, I wasn't expecting much, but right now, it looked like my fellow target was about to get the upper hand. Looking to make the most of this lapse in defense on Thane's part, the redhead clasped her fists together and jumped up. While she was looking to slam down on his head with a double fist strike? Ambitious, but the wrong choice. She should have followed it up with something with less wind-up time. Against a normal opponent, sure, that might have been the right move. But against Thane? As I feared, right as the woman brought down the strike, he swayed out of the way, dodging at the very last second. And unfortunately, since she missed, Thane's opponent was now wide open. Almost casually, his free hand shot out and slammed into the redhead's face. It wasn't even a punch either. It was more of a shove, it looked like. And as though she was shoved, the woman fell back, toppling onto the floor and skidding up to the edge of another container. Thane, pressing the advantage, calmly took 2 steps forward and began to ready his gun. A simple shot or 2 to the splayed opponent would end things. Damn. Well, good thing I'm not one to listen to directions. Okay. Hey, here's something to keep in mind. If a word pops up, that's your mind considering it or whatever. Well, if it pops up again, then you're reconsidering it, changing your mind. In other words, if a word pops up twice, it's as though you never thought of it in the first place. What? Of course, that means if a word pops up a 3rd time, well, you're clever enough to work it out by yourself. What on earth are you talking about? I'd already begun moving over to the fight. I'm gonna fail this, because I feel like the tutorials for the action sections are not good enough. Now I was in a full-on sprint. At the last possible moment, Thane looked over to me. Jump kick, tackle, jump punch, throw, jump kick. Do it twice? You looked just in time to witness me jumping at him with both legs. That's right, the good old drop kick. Man, this thing really was a decent fighting move, huh? Apparently Thane's weakness was unexpected kicks from third parties when he was already aiming at someone on the ground with a gun, because he wasn't remotely prepared for this attack. The dropkick hit him full on and he was sent flying to the ground. He slid back, and in the impact he let go of the gun, which slid even further. This time it was my job to grab the previous savior. I felt my mouth open before I knew what to say. Flee, gun, help, kill. Hurry? I shouted this to indicate that actually continuing to fight Thane was a mistake. At first, this might seem like an odd choice. Thane was prone, without his gun. It was 2-on-1. We should keep fighting him, right? But no, my fighting experience indicated anything but. Even with the two of us pressing the advantage, I didn't doubt Thane would be able to end us both. What this surprise ambush would be used for is getting more of a significant lead on Thane. Luckily, it seemed like my fellow target agreed with this assessment. She began to run away, and I made to follow her, but sweep, grab, grapple, grab. Thane grabbed at my foot as I was fleeing. Luckily, I was able to spot this attempt in the corner of my eye and jumped up just in time. It was close. Immediately we began flooring it. Where to run? Run straight, sprint left, flee right. Oh my god, I can't do that. Sprint left was there twice, let's go sprint left. Seeing a good path forwards, we made an immediate turn left. We followed that shortly up with a right turn. I just needed Thane to be far away, that was the only priority. As much distance as possible, this was a full-on sprint. Until finally... Ambush, attack, ambush, hide, ambush, stop. From what I could tell, we put enough distance on Thane. What we need to do now is catch our breath. So here, we were on the complete opposite side of the boat. We began to slow down and catch our breath. Whew. I listened intently for Thane, but no footsteps were to be heard. For now at least, I was right. We'd actually lost him. Well, that's nice. Hey, now that we have a moment to ourselves, mind if I got your name? Moment to ourselves? We're still pretty fucked, dude. It's a big boat. We lost him. I think we got at least a moment. Why do you want to know my name? So we can, like, talk? Seeing as we're sort of in this shit fest together at the moment, I thought it'd be nice. Jeez, is everything gonna be a thing with you? She eyed me with suspicion for a moment. Fine. I'm Lara. Nice to meet you, Lara. Lara Croft? And you? Mercury. Mercury? Problem with that name? No, the poisonous metal or the planet. Just unique. There are a lot of pretty unique names here in Panthea. Fair enough. Mind telling me what you're doing on this ship? Are you gonna tell me why you're here? Now's not the time to talk about that shit. Our lives are in danger. Drop that quickly. Now, you want to give me shit or try working out a plan? Plan sounds good. Only problem though, I don't know what we're supposed to do. Piloting this huge ship back to shore will take a bit, and it'll be a huge risk. No idea if there's somebody at the control place right now, but if there is, they're likely armed. And we're in the middle of the ocean, so it's not like we have an easy out. Easy, we just gotta get to the lifeboat. Lifeboat? Yeah, it's on the starboard side. Is that the right term? That side. Lara pointed where she was indicating. That's how I got here. I smuggled myself on the lifeboat when we went out to sea. Of course. Obviously there'd be a lifeboat. Why didn't I check for that the moment I woke up? Ugh. I didn't really have an answer. Guess I'm dumb. Okay, yeah. Lifeboat seems like the safest play. We should try and angle towards that if we can. Great. Let's get going. Immediately Lara began moving in the direction she had earlier indicated. Well, wait. I gripped a hold of her arm. Annoyed, she shook me off. The hell? Sorry. But look, I don't think going there right away is such a good idea. Fucking... Didn't you just say the lifeboat was our best bet? It is. Which is why we should be wary about going that way, because he'll know it's our best bet too and be watching for us. I don't follow. Thane's pretty smart. That's so. Okay, that statement makes me think you believe otherwise. But earlier, when I was in the hull, when he lost me, he began to guard the stairs back to the deck. I think that's probably because he knew about the lifeboat and wanted to cut off the possible escape for me. Now that we're on deck, I think Thane's likely to skip the middleman and puppy guard the lifeboat directly. If we go that way haphazardly, we're likely to get sprayed with bullets. So what? You're saying we shouldn't take the obvious exit because he'll expect that play? In so many words. Heh. Ever heard of the Hangman's Paradox? Enlighten me. Alright, so there's this crazy serial killer. He's scheduled to get strung up sometime this week. On Monday, the wardens tell the killer that they're not going to expect it the morning his execution is announced. Fucked up prison system, I know, but just go with me. Now, do you know what the prisoner figures? They can't be killed on Sunday because if there's only one day left, they'd expect it. Exactly. So then they can't be killed on Saturday because if it got to Friday, and obviously it couldn't happen on Sunday, then obviously they'd expect it to come Saturday. And the same thing with Friday, and then Thursday. Huh, you sure you never learned about this thing before? I'm just working through the situation logically. Anyway, the killer goes on to extend that reasoning throughout the whole week and concludes it's impossible for him to be executed on any day. And then on Wednesday, they're executed and feel like a real idiot. You were the one who reminded me we had limited time, right? Look, the moral of the story is, don't be like the stupid killer. Since the expected choice is so expected, sometimes it's unexpected. So really, there's no choice that can become expected. I feel like she skipped a few steps in there somewhere. However, she seemed confident in this reasoning and began to move again. Okay, wait. Lara paused, but didn't turn back around. We can go, but we have to be like super stealthy. Obviously. I don't mean like regular stealthy, I mean we need to actively check for any places they might be waiting to ambush us from before we get to that lifeboat. Okay, I get it. I don't want to get shot either. I'm not saying you do. I'm saying we should be careful and... Alright, I'm bored now. Lara resumed her trek to the lifeboat. Annoyed, all I could do was follow her. Slowly, stealthily, we made our way toward the lifeboat. Luckily, Lara seemed to take my advice to heart. She moved with extremely light feet, making sure to check at corners and take frequent breaks. For my part, I just tried not to make noise. And I listened out, tried to hear where Thane was. Unfortunately, at the rate things were going, I was more likely to hear my own heartbeat than any noise Thane was making. Unlike before, I couldn't place him anywhere. There were two options. Either he was already in one place, stationary, or he was also stalking around silently, looking for us. Were we currently in a game of deadly cat and mouse? Or were we slowly making our way right into a trap? I couldn't tell. All I could do was keep walking. Step, step, step. The ship wasn't that long, and yet it felt like it was taking forever to simply cross from one end to the other. Part of it was the painstakingly slow rate at which we moved. Part of it was how fast my mind was going. I always thought I was good at thinking pretty quickly, but time really did move slower when you're in danger. I always heard that cliche, but never thought there was any truth to it. I wonder if it's a sort of chemical thing, or if, it's the adrenaline, right? Beefing you up. Lara and I were leaning back against the nearest container, motionless. We didn't move. We didn't breathe. I felt like choking. Right in front of us, we'd gotten a glimpse of Thane. He was slowly walking in the other direction. I'm pretty sure he didn't see us. He wasn't facing our direction. Still, holy shit. My heart dropped the moment I heard the gunshot. I felt like yelping out. Where was it aimed? Had he found us? I didn't hear an impact sound. No impact sound? 2 more shots were fired, but this time I got a glimpse of in the sky of what was really going on here. These shots were being fired into the sky. Thane was purposefully giving away his location. Looks like we were trying his patience, and he was fed up with slow and steady method. To be honest, I didn't think Thane's patience could be broken. As that thought passed my mind, I started to hear his mechanical voice shout out through the silent night. Come on out, Lara. We really don't have to do this. Deal with the trespasser and we can come to an understanding. You don't have to die here. Because that's what's going to happen, you know. Die here. We both know you can't take me on. Twice now you've fluked your way out of death, but I'm on guard now. No more little tricks will faze me. I really don't want to kill you. Anxiously, I looked to Lara. These two clearly knew each other. We're in cahoots. Was she thinking about taking this deal? I saw her roll her eyes. Okay, looks like she found this proposition completely ridiculous. Thank God. Good to know I wasn't going to get sold out. But Thane wasn't done yet. What do you think you're going to do to accomplish it? Going to accomplish if you escape, huh? Because obviously you're looking to escape. Do you think you can get back to safe land? You'd have won something? You go and report this to Marduk, suddenly you've won? What makes you think you're so sure that he doesn't know about this, huh? Because you're saying that aloud, you fucker. Shut the fuck up. He was right there, Lara. Do you want to be shot? Okay. Here's a better question. Do you think he'll particularly care? Do you think that'll be the least of your concerns when he learns your dirty little secret? Little Miss Naomi? I saw Lara visibly freeze up at this. I had no context for what he was saying. However, I could guess it wasn't good. Yeah, that's right. I know. The manjet did its job. Cheeky little bitch, aren't you? Thinking you could get away with this? Thinking that someone like you could lead the duets? Huh. As if. Sorry to say, your gal pal down in the hull didn't have as tight lips as you must have thought when you confided in her. Really didn't take you long to cough that up. Just 2 fingers. I could visibly see Lara shaking. With rage or with fear, I wasn't sure. I tried lightly putting a hand on her shoulder just to ground her to the situation. However, the instant look of fury I got from her signaled that maybe that wasn't the right tack to take. Face it, you will never be more than what you are. Frankly, you're already above your station. I know you can hear me. Just come out already. To illustrate the point, Thane fired another shot into the air. It wasn't as though he was in a completely different mode. He was kind of acting like this when I caught him torturing that old man. Aside for talking shit, aside for murder, is it? Honestly, I don't give a shit if you get away. Like I said, you can't touch me. It's really just a mystery passenger I want, dude. Look, you got one chance. Kill me now? If not, I'm bringing this ship back to shore and speaking to Marduk. When he learns the truth, you're as sure as shit not going to get the headship of the duets. And there's no fucking way he's giving it to Yi. Ooh, Yi. Interesting. It's gonna fall to me. I'll get what should have been rightfully mine had that old bastard not thrown a fit the moment I tried putting one of his lectures into action. That is, unless you come out right now. Lara's hands had balled into fists. Uh-oh. She began to move forwards, and once again I grabbed her arm. Again she pushed it off and began to open her mouth to rebuke me. Panicking, I covered it with my other hand. She was pissed before, now she was furious. But I put a finger to my mouth, signaling we need to stay mindful of. Still, she pushed away my hand. Before she spoke, however, I started talking very quietly. Look, think for a second, would you? Why would he shout all this out if it were true? He's provoking you. He knows that if he gets you angry enough, you'll try and take him out. And he knows he can kill you if you fall for it. But you've got a perfectly fine plan with the lifeboat. And you know he's not a puppy guarding it right now. Let's take advantage of that. Wordlessly, Lara began moving towards the lifeboat, hands still clenched. She was no longer moving slow and steady. Oh well. Hopefully Thane was too busy monologuing to notice. At the very least, I'd successfully avoided the worst case scenario. At this point, we're already pretty close to the lifeboat. Just a bit closer. Few more steps. There. I saw it, over the edge, a lifeboat. It was raised to be right under the edge of the ship. At this point, the time for subtlety was over. Lara and I pretty much just ran straight over to the lifeboat. With reckless abandon, I jumped over the railing and landed in the lifeboat. Lara got in with a bit more tact and began messing with the lifeboat winch controls. However, it was at this point our noise attracted the attention of our very own masked murderer. Thane popped out from behind the container. Shit. I suddenly fell flat, lying in the boat, hoping to avoid any gunshots. Lara, on the other hand, frantically began messing with the controls faster. She hit a button, then nervously ducked, hands over her head, as the whole lifeboat began to suddenly drop. Great timing too, because Thane just let out another shot when Lara had been just moments ago. Thane was always a second late with the shot, huh? Was he just a bad shot? I mean, it was starting to feel like that, to be honest. Maybe I was just particularly lucky. Anyway, not remotely the time to start questioning the abilities of the person currently trying to kill me. We may be technically on the ocean, but we were still shackled to the manjet. Get the boat started. Lara had to shout over the crashing water, which was now quite loud, being this close to the waves. On it, I began to rush over to the back of the boat and rev up the motor. I never really operated a motorboat like this, but boy, if there was ever a time to start, as best I could tell, I'd gotten it to start. Lara had also managed to pull off her duty, properly getting the lifeboat free. Just as soon as she finished this, I was suddenly pushed back. I had to grab on to prevent myself from falling out of the lifeboat. Apparently, I put this thing at maximum speed. Whoa, the speed it felt. Get down! Lara shouted at me. Before I could comprehend what she meant, she grabbed my shoulders and forcibly pushed me down. Again, dollar short for a day late, Thane. It didn't take a genius to imagine what had happened. Once we dropped down, Thane began running over to the side of the ship. When he got to a position he could lean over the rail, he continued firing the pistol. Unfortunately for him, hitting a rapidly moving lifeboat was a tricky prospect. Still, you couldn't say he wasn't determined. Shot after shot he fired off into the ocean, vaguely in our direction. After every missed bullet, the odds for his success for the next decreased. Lara and I just huddled at the back of the boat, crouching down, gritting our teeth as the cold water and wind splashed our faces. Full knowledge that at any moment Thane might get lucky, and sent a chunk of metal right through the back of our throats. But eventually, after far too long, I no longer heard the sound of bullets. Hesitantly, I started to get up. I turned around. Yeah, at this point, we'd well and truly put some distance on the manjet. You need a sniper rifle to reliably hit a fast-moving target at this rate. So then, were we free? Scooch over. Lara had also begun to get up, and now that we weren't in imminent danger, this huddling no longer felt comfortable. I moved to one side of the boat, and Lara the other. The wind was really rough. Oh, that made sense, we were moving this fast. I looked forward. We still had a ways to go until shore. However, I looked back. We put distance on the manjet. Then, was I free? Had I escaped the ghost ship alive? Was this night of torment over? I could almost cry. It felt unreal. I put my face in my hands. God, I really was going to live, huh? I'd been holding back how crazy this night had been until now, but knowing that I could actually get out alive, go on to finish my mission, it was truly... where was that bright light coming from? I took my head out of my hands and I instantly put my hands up, again shielding myself from the blinding light. Moments later we were out of the direct gaze. However, a couple of seconds later the light caught up to us. Through squinty eyes I looked out trying to get a better look at where it was coming from. And then I saw it. A bright light atop the manjet, is being directed towards us. And it wasn't the only thing coming in this direction. It was hard to tell from this perspective, but no. No, the manjet was moving. Turning and moving right in our direction. Something that big shouldn't be able to move that fast. And yet it was. It was a nightmarish titan of a vessel, and yet it moved with a surprising amount of force. It was practically keeping up with us. In fact, was it faster? I couldn't quite tell, but it seemed plausible. If you have any naive ideas about us being out of the woods, think again. They don't call Thane the Shadow of Panthea for nothing. His job is to kill people, and he's good at his job. He's not going to stop tracking us down until either we completely shake him off, he's dead, or we are. Sorry, bud, but this night's far from over. Classic. Everybody loves the we're saved, oh wait, no we're not bit. Or at least I do. Guess I can't say if everyone does. But I mean, I didn't mean the saying literally. No one does. There's no way to know if everyone thinks something. It's a complete devil's proof. 100% of the time, that saying is not said literally. But I guess that's true for most sayings, isn't it? That's why they're sayings. I digress. In regards to the scene, was it just me? Or did this one feel a little short? Just me? Like, not criminally short. I don't know. This was a clean endpoint, which I think is more important than consistent scene length. Maybe. I agree. Look, more work goes into creating these cards than just the, creation, which, yes, in itself is an impressive feat that makes me like a god. There's also a creative direction to it. I mean, yes, okay, not a ton of it. It's mostly just a reproduction of what happened. Still, there are details where I have to think of, like how to separate the cards. That matters. We've gotten wildly off track. Wasn't there a bit we have to check on? Right, the one about Mercury where Mercury would end up after 2 scenes. Well, it's been 2 scenes, and though it's not the same boat, Mercury is still on a boat, so, I guess you win. Good for you, I guess. You really made a keen judgment, or something like that. Okay, I'll be real. I feel like our conversation this time was a little all over the place. Yeah, me too. Perhaps I'm not doing the best job right now as a storyteller. Just been a little distracted. There's some stuff going on outside. You know what? Forget it. Let's just move on. How many tokens did I get? I got 9 now. Alright, we're going to wrap this one up here. That's just about the perfect length for the episode. I want to get straight back into the manjet. I want to go as far as I can with this one. For now. And, I'm probably going to regret that because I'm enjoying this one so much. And, like, I don't want to leave... I want to save... some might be not as good as others, and I don't want to end on the less good one. I don't know. I'm just having a good time with this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.